Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-service meditation here at Centers for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. Now is the time that we get to consciously hold that sacred trust with the divine. So go ahead and get comfortable. Take a nice deep cleansing breath through your nose and then exhale out of the mouth. We'll do that 3 times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. And now breathing exclusively through your nose. Bring your awareness to your breath, making sure to inhale fully and exhaling completely. Keeping the breath slow, soft, smooth, silent, and sacred. Keeping our awareness on the breath essentially keeps our awareness in this present moment. We cannot take a breath for 3 minutes from now, nor can we take a breath for 2 minutes ago. We can only breathe in this moment. So bring your awareness to your breath as it enters and exits the nostrils. Become aware of how that breath fills up the body, the upper body, how the lungs expand, how the abdomen expands. And then feel how the air exits the body and the abdomen sucks in just a bit. And we breathe. And now we allow this breath to guide us into the throne room of the heart, guiding us into the Holy of Holies, the sweet, secret, sacred place of the Most High. This is where we find our intuition, our imagination, our memories, and it is the gateway to our higher power. And we breathe. Now, as we are in the throne room of the heart, imagine sitting in the presence of that divine being, which of course is you. And we are opening up to listen with that inner ear. And we're seeing with the inner eye. And we are feeling with the heart. Allowing ourselves to see the invisible, to hear the inaudible, and to feel the infinite. And in the presence of the divine, there is only one question that we ask. Who am I to be? Who am I to be? And we listen. Whatever conversation you choose to have with this inner being, go ahead and have it. Peace. Be still. Be still. And if the awareness wanders off, that's okay. Just lovingly bring it back. In this questioning, who am I to be? Maybe you are hearing you are to be more compassionate. You are to be loving. Maybe just being the joy. Who are you to be? Thank you, Spirit. Maybe the answer is to be willing to shine more. And as we allow ourselves to immerse ourselves even deeper in the throne room of the heart, getting a real clear glimpse of who we are to be, we have the courage to ask, what am I to let go? What must be released in order for me to be this? What no longer serves me? I'm ready to let go of and let go of right now. Mm. Mm. As we fully open, being open, receptive, and available, we catch a glimpse as we ask ourselves the question, what is wanting to be birthed through me now? What is wanting to be expressed through me now. And we listen. In gratitude, we listen. Mm. And now we allow ourselves to be surrounded by the vibration and in the vibration of gratitude. Just so very grateful. Grateful for this thing called life. Grateful for all of our relationships. Grateful for this breath. Grateful for this heartbeat. Grateful for this moment. So for a moment, we just rest in the vibration of gratitude. Allowing the feeling of gratitude to bring a smile to your face. Just grateful that you can smile. Mm. Mm. in your mind's eye, come up with a list of at least 5 things you are grateful for. You don't have to stop at 5. Hmm. Yes. And now, in this joyous vibration of gratitude, we bring our awareness back to our rooms, back to the body temple where we feel our feet on the floor as we wiggle our toes, feeling our seats in the seats as the chair supports the body temple, becoming aware once again of the vibration within the room, the sounds in the room. Recognizing that out of the stillness, the activity of spirit is manifested. Recognizing that out of the silence, the word of God is spoken. Grateful that I choose to recognize that there is one power, one presence, and one life. And though it may be called by different names, I choose to call it God, recognizing that it is the infinite intelligence that governs the universe. And so we give thanks for this time well spent in the throne room of our hearts, within the Holy of Holies, that sweet, sacred place of the Most High, knowing that we can return to this place at any time, just by setting the intention and then taking the breath to take us there. So this concludes this morning's pre-service meditation here at Centers for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. And even though the meditation service has come to an end, we continue to ride high on the vibration that we have just created for ourselves, being who we are here to be, releasing what needs to be let go, and allowing that which is wanting to be expressed to be expressed. Peace and abundant blessings.
Good morning. I am excited because today Rev Ray is going to talk about spiciness. And this song is about a particular family of spices that has to do with that beautiful sacred power, holy will, determination, right action, and the warrior spirit. And my apologies ahead of time to Sonya, who's going to have to interpret this really fast rap. But I hope it wakes up your spirit and gets you feeling spicy. Let's go CSL Greater Baltimore. Woo! Something's mistaking me, it's taking me for a fool. Constantly accusing me of being fake like I'm some criminal. But it's subliminal, I can't remember though how I got in this flow of negativity that's keeping me from being free. But I know that it's all me and the beauty and the beast and my thoughts that are locking my heart's the key. Society almost succeeded in bleeding me out, but I see the reality of the light and I'm ready for the fight now. I'm made of light and my weapon is the truth. Demons inside, don't bother hiding, now I'm after you. Found the truth in this music, spitting rhymes so smooth it forged the sword for this battle born warrior. I am the warrior, I am the chief. I never turn and run when darkness comes for me. And though the demons may try to break me with their straight-faced lies, I am the warrior and I will always rise. Hey, 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 yeah, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, 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 ooh, ooh, yeah, 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 spicy, spicy, oh. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the battle's won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the battle's won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the battle's won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the battle's won. I am the warrior, I am the chief. I'll never turn and run when darkness comes for me. And though the demons may try to break me with their straight-faced lies, I am the warrior and I will always rise. Hey, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna do the bridge over one more time, because when we talk about, beautifying our minds, we talk about receiving everything with love. What you resist persists, right? So we're not trying to battle anything. Warriors, in the spiritual sense, are warriors of love. So we're going to change the lyrics up. Here we go. Where the love has won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the love has won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the love has won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the love is won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the love has won. I am the warrior, I am the chief. I'll never turn and run when darkness comes for me. I just love it. And though the demons may try to break me with the straight-faced lies, I am the warrior and I will always rise. Hey, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah.
God morning, all. Yeah. Woo! Just got it started. All right. Woo. Okay. Here we go. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's virtual service. I am Tracy Rhymes, your host. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Our speaker is our spiritual director, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. Our musician, is Jesse Powers. Serving as today's practitioner who led us in that awesome pre-service meditation is Eugene D. Holden. Assisting with making this service open, inviting, and accessible to the deaf community are our sign language interpreters, Ashlee Goldman and Sonya Chavis. On behalf of Reverend Dr. Ray, thank you for your service. At CSLGB, every Sunday is an invite a friend or family member Sunday. Make sure you spread the love and invite someone to service. We would love to have them hang out with us. Eugene D. Holden has been a student of science of mind and spirit for over 30 years and has been a licensed religious science practitioner for 15 years. For 10 years, Eugene served the World Ministry of Prayer at CSL Home Office. He also served as Home Office liaison to the Diversity Commission, serving as a trainer and facilitator. Eugene has been a well-loved contributor to the Science of Mind magazine for over 13 years, inspiring lives around the world. He allows vision to guide him. It is prayer that fuels him. Eugene is deeply committed to his purpose of joyfully assisting others in remembering who and what they truly are, divine beings of light. He believes that together we can reveal the kingdom of heaven right here on earth. What is heaven? Heaven is ever expanding good.
Thank you, Tracy. Good morning, Centers for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. Join me in this beautiful thing that I call answered prayer. Yeah. So this is what I know. I know that there is a power and intelligence, a presence that is at the very center of all of life. I know that having no circumference, there isn't anything that exists outside of that presence, which I call God. And though it may be called by many names, I choose to call it God, knowing that sometimes it is called Allah, Krishna, Vadun, Olodumare, great-grandfather, infinite grandmother. Whatever we call it forth into this conscious awareness, recognizing that by its very nature, it permeates, penetrates, and it fills the interspaces of the universe, meaning that there is no space where God is not. See, what I know is that it being everywhere present at all times must mean that right where I am at all times, it is revealing itself in, through, and as every aspect of my life. It reveals itself as every cell within this body temple. It reveals itself as everything surrounding this body temple. And as I know this to be the truth of my life, I know this to be the truth of each individualized expression of the infinite presence of God. Right here, right now, God is, we are. Right here, right now, God is, we are. And so it is in my awareness of our oneness in God that I speak this word for this day, for this moment. For truly, this is the day that the Lord thy God has made. And so we get to rejoice in this day, glad to be in the awareness that everything is already all right. So I speak this word, blessing each and every individual who has and is having anything to do with bringing this service to the world To the interpreters, I say thank you. To Jesse, I say thank you. To Tracy, I say thank you. To all of us who are tuning in today, I say thank you for being here and for expressing who and what you truly are. Those that divine being of light that you are. And now I speak this word for the Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, knowing that as he continues to show up, he allows himself to be used by Spirit. See, I know that as Dr. Ray stands in the divinity of his being, that he opens up to allow Spirit to use him in ways that touches not only his life, but what he hears and then he expresses touches our lives and all of the lives who have the honor to hear his voice, to feel his presence, to be in the spirit of not only of Dr. Raymond Anderson, but being in the spirit of Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore. So now, for this and for so much more than these words can ever convey, I truly am forever grateful and thankful. And now I release my word into the law, knowing that as I release it, in the moment that I think about releasing it, it is already being returned unto us, not void or empty, but absolutely and completely fulfilled. And so fulfilled, we just simply and lovingly allow it to be. Life is good. And so it is. Amen. Ashlee. Amen.
Honoring the world's religions. The Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore's community, honors the diversity of all religions as represented by this ceremony. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Buddhism is the path of compassion and cessation of suffering. Christianity is the path of love and forgiveness. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God. Judaism is the path of living by sacred law. Indigenous spirituality is the path of honoring the earth and all life. Shintoism is the path of ritual, veneration of kami, and honoring nature. Taoism is the path of ultimate reality through balance. Unitarian Universalist is the path of social justice and sacred activism. Science of mind and spirit is the path of awakening one's spiritual magnificence in accord with love and law. The heart. The heart represents our love for and unity with all life.
Ooh, all right. And so it is. Time for announcements. On the first and third Monday nights, the Sacred Contracts Book Club, hosted by Nancy Rosenberg. The Wednesday night, Science of Mind Study Group, facilitated by Reverend Dr. Ray. And the Thursday night study group, facilitated by practitioner Sue Monahan. Sign up for the CSLGB newsletter, the CSLGB Facebook and Instagram pages. Visit cslgreaterbaltimore.org and get more news and information, including what Reverend Dr. Ray is teaching in the larger CSL community. Blessing bags were distributed February 6th during the Baltimore ceasefire. We are still accepting monetary donations to offset the cost and to save for future distributions. To give, visit the website and note that your donation is for blessing bags. The next C7 committee committed to creating cultural change through courageous conversations meeting is on May 7th at 11 a.m., and that's Eastern Standard Time. For more information, email Reverend Dr. Ray. If you have a fundraising ideas and you want to share or be on the fundraising committee, email Rainica Parametla. Wanted volunteers to attend KarmaFest. This is a great opportunity to get the word out in the larger spiritual community from Friday, June 24th through Sunday, June 26th. For more information, times, specific needs, and to sign up to volunteer, send an email to our fundraising committee chair, rainica.parametla@gmail.com. The CSLGB Building Committee is seeking assistance in a variety of ways to locate the next right home or the right next home for CSLGB. For more information on how you can assist, email Dana Molden, Committee Chair. Email to dana.molden@gmail.com. Here at CSLGB, every Sunday is a great day to choose this as your spiritual community, your spiritual family. The first step is to take the discovery class, which is offered online and can be taken at any time. Visit the website to learn more and enroll in the discovery class. To receive a daily text and voicemail from Reverend Dr. Ray, type JOIN2 833-663-9021 to begin receiving your daily inspiration. You will be glad you did. Prayer works. Woo! One more time. Prayer works. All right. We, as a community, continue to treat and move our feet, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. Prayer requests can be sent at any time. Email to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Boom. Jesse Powers is a self-proclaimed conscious indie pop musician based in Columbus, Ohio. Her perceptive and penetrating lyricism, tumbling vocal stylings, and powerhouse pop melodies combine to create a unique but oh so catchy sound that entertains and profoundly awakens those who listen. Her music has been described as real, raw, down to the heart, and like emotional surgery. Her debut full-length album, Begin, was released in November 2017. Her second full-length album, To Remember, was released summer of 2021. For booking inquiries, email info@jessepowersmusic.com or go to jessepowersmusic.com. I give you Jesse Powers.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I love the way you do the announcements. So we're gonna add a different spice to the spice rack. Enjoying all the flavors. And this one's a little more melancholy. But it's all good, because it's all for our betterment. And ultimately, all for our deepest awakening. So here we go. We're going to do a little bit of healing. Can you feel my love? Let it wrap you up in a warm body. It is more than enough that you are simply breathing right now. You bring your highs, you bring your lows. Try to prove to me you don't deserve anything. I'll keep holding the space for you to simply be here right now. It's a hard road to loving yourself. It's a hard thing to believe it enough to be loved by somebody else. You may be lost, you may be shaken and confused, but none of this is gonna dissuade me from loving you. And all this darkness is just a feeling, and it's feelings that make you grow. When you're growing, it means you're healing, making your way to where you let resistance go. And I can show you the way, and I will reassure you that through it all, I'm gonna stay. Won't you let me in? I am standing at your door, waiting. I don't care if it's a mess in there. I just wanna see you shine as you are. It's a hard road to love yourself. It's a hard thing to believe it enough to be loved by somebody else. You may be lost, you may be shaken and confused, but none of this is gonna dissuade me from loving you. Ooh, and all this darkness is just a feeling, and it's feelings that make you grow. And when you're growing, it means you're healing, making your way to where you let resistance go. And I can show you the way, and I will reassure you that through it all, I'm gonna stay. Ooh, I'm gonna stay. Ooh, I'm gonna stay. Ooh, I'm gonna stay. Whether or not you believe that I do, and I love you with sugar, so open up and receive leaving you. Oh, all this darkness is just a feeling, and it's feelings that make you grow. When you're growing, it means you're healing, making your way to where you let resistance go. And I can show you the way, and I will reassure you that through it all, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay. Ooh, I'm gonna stay.
Woo, I'm going to stay. That was beautiful, Jesse. Thank you. All right. Now, Eugene returns to lead us in a spiritual practice.
Good morning once again. Oh, man. Jesse Powers, thank you so much. Very beautiful. Man, yeah. We'll just leave it at that because there's so much more. So today's spiritual practice is a reading that I'm going to read, a writing from one of my favorite authors and writers, which is me. And it's called Emotions, a Spice Rack of Life. Variety is a spice of life. Our emotions are no different. Emotions give us insight into what we are thinking because it is our thinking that creates our emotions and feelings. For example, the next time you get emotional about something, stop and ask yourself this question. What do I have to be thinking to have this emotion? Now, here's the important part. Then allow yourself to listen to the answers that come up. You see, it all comes back to our thoughts. Dr. Holmes reminds us that by changing our thinking, we can change our lives. When we experience an emotion, lean into it, feel into it. Our emotions are there to help guide us in this thing called life. All of our emotions help to make life a delicious experience. That is, as long as we don't allow our emotions to get the best of us. If we are not aware, our emotions can have us make decisions that may end up having us regret, right? Our emotions may have us make decisions that we may end up regretting. So we want to be aware of where we are with that. Therefore, it is sometimes good just to sit in the emotion, be it the emotion of sadness, be it the emotion of joy, maybe the emotion of grief or happiness or anger. Simmering in the emotion, as spices simmer, can be a good thing when we allow ourselves to sit in the emotion with the intention to grow. What is this emotion? What am I having to think? What am I thinking to be having this emotion? And then sit with that. You see, life has given us everything we need to thrive. This includes our emotions. So honor your emotions, because when we strive for balance in our emotional spectrum, we achieve balance in our lives. Peace and blessings.
Thank you, Eugene. Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister serving the Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore community as our spiritual director. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self development, personal transformation, transmutation, and transfiguration, he has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man and visionary New Thought leader who makes complex metaphysical concepts readily understandable and applicable. His mission is to live, move, and be an active member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, and emancipate people and communities to awaken and empower themselves. ACTIVE is an acronym that stands for authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, and empowered. And he continues to live his bliss as a teacher, minister, author, workshop and seminar facilitator, visual artist, ASL interpreter, and ASL performing artist, mentor, father, grandfather, and more. I give you Reverend Dr. Ray.
Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate that. So, we're off to a nice spicy morning, I'd say. Nice and spicy, which, after all, isn't that the kind of life you want? I mean, come on now. Who wants raisins in their potato salad? Right? Like you want that deep, soulful kind of life. So you need to have a well-stocked spice rack. Okay, I don't hear anybody. Okay, thank you. Yes, you need that well-stocked spice rack. You need to be aware of your emotions. You need to be readily available to your emotions. So today we're talking about this idea of there are so many types of emotions with varying levels and degrees of intensity. Our emotions are like the spice rack that we can spin to find the one that is the focus of the moment. And sometimes life may spin it. The circumstances of life may spin it. And what is ours to do is say, spin, spin, spin. Oh, ghost pepper. Woo! What am I going to do with this? No, it's like being on Iron Chef and they give you, here are the ingredients you have to use, and you have to figure out, what am I supposed to make with this? Or chopped, and you open the basket and it's like, what am I supposed to? And then you start to say, this is what I have, this is what I feel, this is what I am given. Now let me evoke the creative principle and take what this is and craft the life that I desire and deserve to live. All emotions are beneficial and have lessons to offer to those who are willing to sit in them and be present to them. As we strive for balance in our emotional spectrum, we achieve balance and effective stewardship in our lives. So, how do you feel today? If you're online, go ahead and type it in. How do you feel today? How are you feeling? There are so many variations of, because you can feel heartbroken and it doesn't have to be either or. For those of you who followed my own personal journey of grief, when my mother made her transition in 2020, you know that there were many days where I felt great sadness and gratitude and joy.
I felt the grief and the mourning and all of that, and the happiness, the sense of contentment, knowing that my mother and I made peace, knowing that there was forgiveness, knowing that there was healing. Both and, not either or. How do you feel today? Type it in the chat. Now, in terms of this, how do you feel today? How do you know what you feel? Where in your body do you feel it? What are the words you use to identify it? Because see, we can say, I feel happy, but what does that mean? When you feel it, as Eugene said, the feeling is initiated or instigated or quote unquote triggered by a thought. What is the thought? What are the thoughts that inspire, that cause happiness or joy or gratitude? What is that? Where is it? Why do you feel what you feel? And do you want to feel what you feel? Do you want to feel it? Because see, there are things that we feel: grief, anger, sadness, isolation, loneliness. Now, a lot of those are intellectualized ramblings of and, extrapolations of a deeper feeling. And we take this and we will say, what I feel is fear. And we will turn it into, I feel great stress and anxiety related to the concept of abandonment and isolation. So we will use words, but when we boil it back down, it's, I'm afraid. And we don't like to feel afraid. That part of our brain that says, saber-toothed tiger, whoop, oh shoot, it sees me, run. We don't like to feel it, but it's necessary. It's part of what gives us the ability to survive. And when we really move into it, not only are we surviving, but we are given the capacity to thrive in our lives. But we must be present to all of the spices, to all of the emotions, all of the thoughts that show up. There are times that, Tracy and I will be having a conversation and, somebody somewhere will say, we're burning this book, or we're going to pass this law that says transgender children can't compete in a sport that doesn't identify with their gender of birth or whatever. And there are times when it's like, oh my goodness, what in the... And we will vent and say all kinds of things to get into that space of, this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling anger. And I refuse to stuff it down. I refuse to submerge it. I refuse to deny it. So I must be present to it. I must give it voice, because once I can speak it, once I can recognize it, once I can feel it, and I mean really be present to it, then I can address, do I want to feel this? What is mine to do? Because if I simply sit in this, then I'm basically, this is so bland, or I don't like the way this tastes. And we keep on eating it and eating it and eating it, knowing it doesn't jive well with our palate. And in essence, it very easily could make us sick to the stomach. But when we are present to it, it's like, okay, I don't like the way this tastes. Let me do something. Let me add something. Let me mix something. Let me change up the energy and the vibration of it, because I need not be anchored and rooted in precedent of, just because this is plain bland, just because this is anger and hatred, just because this is fear-based, doesn't mean I must stay in it. Principle says, by my mental equivalent, I am afforded the ability to shift it and to change it. But I have to be present to it in order to do so. Ernest Holmes says, in the well-balanced person, emotion is controlled by the intellect. But in many people, there is conflict between the emotion and the intellect. Emotion uncontrolled produces chaos. Now, for the sake of conversation, chaos is not a bad thing. It really isn't. because there are many forms of birthing that can come out of chaos. But for the sake of this, what this is referring to is the person who remains in a state of imbalance, ongoing, 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 ongoing. The person who is in a state of fear, a consciousness of fear, paradigms of fear, and is paranoid about and worried about and anxious about everything and everyone all the time. That's chaos. And yet, the Scarlet Witch in Marvel uses chaos magic. So it is possible to form and create the life you desire out of the chaos, for it is out of the chaos that the Big Bang, chaos, boom, and then order and harmony. Follow what I'm saying? So finding that balance between head and heart, love and law, the intellect and feeling, because it's not a matter of either or. It's both and. We are both human and divine. We are balancing yin, and we say yin and yang, but actually it's just yin yang. It's the balance of love, law, head, heart, reason, intuition, both and. Both and. So you are able to be, able to feel, able to reconcile this idea of, I feel angry and grateful. What does that mean? I can be angry about whatever this happened in my family while also being grateful that I am in a place where I need not let that anger control me and push the buttons that it would have pushed 5 years ago or 5 weeks ago. But I feel the anger, but I'm grateful to know that this anger that I feel right now is going to be moved through far faster than it would have 2 years ago. Breathe. The Good Therapy blog says, emotions by themselves are neither good nor bad. They are simply reactions. However, the way we act or don't act on our emotions can strongly affect our well-being. The manner in which we act or don't act on what we feel. Now, my remix on this is, spices by themselves are neither good nor bad. They are simply seasonings. However, the way we add or don't add them into a dish can strongly affect the experienced flavor and quality of that meal. What we do with the spices, what we do with, as Jesse's second song, what we do when we feel the melancholy, what we do when we feel afraid, what we do when we feel angry, is what changes the quality of or the experience of our lives. The spice in and of itself is a spice, but the question is, but what's cooking? What is the experience that this meal, your life, is producing? Your life is the meal. How are you engaging the spices, the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts? How are you adding, mixing them to have the desired taste, the desired nutritional content, the quality of the meal? How are you adding, mixing, creating? Breathe. Gary Zukov says, emotions reflect intentions. Therefore, awareness of emotions leads to awareness of intention. You follow that? So if there goes back to what Eugene said about that whole thought thing, you're mental equivalent. So if I say, this is what I feel, but it's not what I want to feel. I feel anger and resentment, but it's not what I want to feel. Fine. What do you want to feel, Ray? I want to feel peace. So what is your intention? Well, my intention, and then we talk about it, and then somewhere in there we get to the point of, I want to feel peace, but I have no intention on letting go of this grudge. I have no intention on letting go of this animosity, because if I let it go, they might do this to me again. So I need to hold on to it. Well, you can't serve two masters. So what's your intention? If your intention is to feel peace, serenity, and harmony, is your intention to live that, to be that? Are they in alignment? Because the emotion is one thing. It's what you feel. Is it in alignment with what you're going to do and how you're going to be and how you're going to show up and move through life? Are they in alignment? Are you grounded and steeped in the vision, mission, and purpose of your life? Is this, because it's one thing to say, I intend to make pizza for dinner. And then, the day goes and you're like, yeah, I really don't feel like doing this whole pizza thing. I think I'm gonna just do cereal. Somewhere your intention shifted. Are you aware that it shifted? Are you aware of why it shifted? The invitation is, as whenever Tracy asks me to cook something or whatnot, and I go to the spice rack, I'm mindful of what's there before I even start cooking. And I already am mindful of when it's time to buy the next curry or buy the next Himalayan salt or whatever it is. I'm mindfully aware of it before the need for it arises, because I know what my intention is. Breathe. If I were to ask you, well, let's go here. Hello and welcome to Can You Figure It Out? The game show where we show you things at a microscopic level and ask you, can you figure it out? One of these things is salt. The other one, it is sugar. Do you know which one is which? I hear you mumbling, Tracy. I ain't thinking about you. Do you know which one is which? One is salt, one is sugar. Type in the chat box if you think sugar is on the right or salt is on the right. Type it in there. Which is which? Now, we ask ourselves, so what's my intention? Do I intend something that is to be salty? Do I intend something to be sweetly? Is that a word? Sweetly, sweetie, sweet, whatever. You know what I'm saying? What is my intention? To make my coffee sweeter? Because if I don't know, if Tracy played a trick on me and she said, I got him, because he messed with me the other day. And she took all of the sugar out of the sugar container and put salt in there. And I, early in the morning, go do what I got to do. And I just go scoop without paying attention and put it in the coffee. Why is my coffee tasting salty? Now I'm salty because my coffee's salty. Haha, Tracy, I heard you laugh. Leave me alone, messing with me. How aware are we of? Because see, I know the difference. I know the texture of, because years ago, I did this practical joke and whatnot and was like, could I figure it out? And you can, if you're aware prior to, being conscious aware prior to, rather than just go about your business. If you're conscious and aware of what you're feeling, moment by moment, then you know when sweet is present, moment by moment. You know when salty is present, moment by moment, because you know the texture, you know the scent, you know by sight, whatever it is, you know before you even need to taste it. You know because you are aware of, you have this level of conscious engagement and awareness with the spices, the emotions, the thoughts, the feelings, all of it, moment by moment, in the same way that we have body awareness. We get Zumbat in this virtual world now, because many of us sit in front of the computers all day, every day. And we're not paying attention to our posture. We're not paying attention to what's going on. And then we move to get up and we're like, oh, ow, oh, because we weren't aware. We allowed our awareness to go elsewhere rather than being present. We do the same thing with our emotions. But the invitation is be present. Identify what the meal is you desire to experience, and then do what is necessary to pull from the spices to make the meal the most tasty and nutritious possible. Which means sometimes adding things that are outside of your comfort zone. Breathe on that one. Sometimes it means adding things, being willing to experience things that are not comfortable. Eric Butterworth says, nothing can satisfy you or fulfill unless you enjoy the freedom that comes from control of your inner world of mind and emotions. Nothing else can satisfy or fulfill unless you enjoy the freedom that comes from your ability to effectively steward your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. You got that? The freedom to effectively steward. From the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, they say, no aspect of our mental life is more important than the quality and meaning of our existence, than the emotions. They are what make life worth living and sometimes worth ending. The quality of our emotions. One of the things that greatly impacts the quality of our emotions, storytelling. What stories are we telling ourselves and about others? Because for real, the story we tell about others isn't really a story we're telling about others. It's a story we're telling ourselves about ourselves in relationship to this idea of others. And there are all kinds of stories to be told. All kinds of stories. Fictional stories, biographical stories, all kinds of stories. And they all reveal something to us about us. All stories are about us. So, in reference to our emotions, what story am I telling myself about myself that inspires whatever that emotional spice is? What story am I telling myself about Tracy that changes the spices within my life? What story do I tell about our wonderful performer today, Cayenne Powers? What story do I tell about her that affects, stop laughing, Tracy, that affects my life and the quality of my stewardship of my life? Breathe. Because it's about how we are making the meal. We are adding or subtracting spices from, per se, based upon how we are stewarding, how we are maneuvering throughout our lives. Maya Angelou says, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Breathe, because I want to add something. This idea that the impact and the influence that we have is an impact and influence on the story. And sometimes how someone can make you feel isn't how they made you feel. It's how you made you feel as a result of them. For example, suppose Cayenne says to me, you know what, Reverend Ray, you're an amazing guy. And, I love collaborating with you and working on this musical and the play and et cetera and stuff. But because of my story, what I hear is you're cool, you're great, but you're not really all that, mm, mm, mm. So my impact of how I feel is I feel less than because I don't feel like I'm I'm not at par with Cayenne. I'm not on the same level with DJ Eugene D. Holden. I'm not at that level. So I feel less than because it's the story I tell myself. So even though their impact and influence is one of, but Ray, you're a good guy, you're cool, you're funny, you're talented, you're whatever that is. Because of my story, the story I tell myself, the impact and the influence, it shifts and it changes. And it isn't always what we think it is. So be mindful that just because you think the impact and influence you are having in someone's life is the impact and influence you think you're having, it may not be. Breathe. Because this idea of storytelling plays into our emotional intelligence and being aware of how emotionally intelligent am I? What is my EQ? Which is our ability to understand, to use, and manage our own emotions in a life-affirming way that relieves stress, that communicates effectively, that gives us the ability to empathize with others and to overcome and to operate with various challenges and to diffuse, first to address conflict, then to diffuse it in the most effective manner possible. How emotionally intelligent am I? And as always, if you ever want, the slides, just reach out to Tracy because we're not going to go over all of this, but be mindful that those who have low emotional intelligence, those who do not fully engage the spice rack to the degree that they could in the most life-affirming way, in the most effectively being the most effective stewards that they could be, poor listeners, people who are flippant, selfish, bossy. I'm not going to say names, Tracy. Bossy. Tracy is, hey. But yes, so being mindful that someone who has high emotional intelligence accepts themselves and they accept others. Those who low emotional intelligence do not accept self or others. So be mindful. How am I engaging? How am I maneuvering the kitchen? How am I maneuvering my life? In the kitchen, every chef has at some point gotten burned, cut themselves, they've dropped a plate, they've ruined a dish. And what makes them a master of the kitchen is their ability to address the quote unquote error and to start anew, start over. And the great thing about this is an analogy for our lives. You will get burned. You will get cut. You will drop a plate. You will ruin a dish. And you have the opportunity to master your way around the kitchen by addressing whatever that is and starting anew. So I feel angry today. Tracy says, do you want to continue feeling angry? Right now, yes. Hulk mad. Okay, cool. Hulk mad. Long as Hulk don't smash, because Hulk smash is usually what comes next. So calm down, Hulk. Ugh. Whew. Ooh, Dr. David Bruce Banner reporting for duty. How long do you want to feel resentment? There's a certain period of time Jesus was in the grave. Be in that for 3 days if you must, but then on the third day, get up. Rise up and choose anew. Reverend Dr. Ray says, emotions and feelings are not always comfortable, and yet our emotions offer evidence as to what we are thinking and where we are going. We can steer the craft of our lives by using, directing, and channeling our emotions in the most life-affirming ways possible, moment by moment. But first, we must acknowledge transparently what we are actually feeling, and therein lies the challenge. If I feel jealousy, but you're a minister, but I feel jealousy. Am I willing to admit that to myself? And am I willing to admit it to another if I need to in order to heal it? Am I willing to go to a practitioner and say, I feel jealousy, I feel envy, I feel anger, I feel bitter, I feel afraid? Because I cannot expect a practitioner to address truth for me fully if I'm lying to the practitioner, right? Just now, granted, Eugene's going to know the truth about me even when I don't know the truth about myself. Yes. But there is this level of, if I go to Eugene or Sue or Frank, I go to a practitioner, I say, Genevieve, I want you to pray for me regarding this. But the this that I'm expressing is not a truthful this. The prayer that they're going to say, while addressing principle and truth, they're taking what I am saying as my call for prayer. And yet, because I am not truthful to myself, am I really going to be in alignment with the truth of the prayer that they are speaking into existence? Am I expecting to serve two masters, the master of my own deception and the truth that they are praying? Or am I willing to surrender this, to be open, naked, and afraid, and align with the truth of my being that they are speaking, that they are praying, that they are sending to the law that says yes? If we are truly going to develop and create and demonstrate a world that works for all, then it starts with, am I willing to do the work here and here in order to make my life work? How conscious are you of your emotional state moment by moment? And which of these is a more accurate statement and why? I am more in control of what I feel each day. Or, rarely am I in control of what I feel each day. Okay. What can you do to increase your emotional intelligence? And then have a conversation with two people about your feelings and your emotions and what causes or makes you feel anything. What causes you to feel sad? What makes you feel angry? Who makes you afraid, etc.? Happy, content, nervous? Is there something you want to feel more of that you currently don't? And what would enable you to feel it? Breathe. Breathe. This week's affirmation / declaration, I will say it first, and if you feel in alignment, then on our second go round, feel free to say it with me. I am blessed and grateful for all my emotions and feelings. Yeah, I hear you. Pause before we say it on the second go round. because that all, it's got some, but grateful for, yes, grateful for all of it, because it is indicating the feelings, the emotions are indicators of the spice, the taste, the temperature, the quality of. And if we are not grateful and feeling blessed by all of them, then we are having a more difficult time navigating. So together, I am blessed and grateful for all my emotions and feelings. Breathe. Breathe as we prepare our hearts, our minds, our beings for this master manifester, master musician, master of spice, the wonderful, the amazing Jesse Cayenne Powers. Woo! Ha! Woo! Ha! Spicy. Spicy.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for that reintroduction. What an amazing talk. So we're gonna go through a couple of spices of life right now. And then we'll have a time for you to add your own spice to our little masterpiece. All right, here we go. I woke up this morning joyful as can be. The first spice, that's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning joyful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning joyful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. Feeling spicy. I woke up this morning joyful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. 'Cause I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. And I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. And I love every single spice. I woke up this morning grateful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. Feel that gratitude. I woke up this morning grateful as can be. Tastes so good. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning grateful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. Get into the flavor. I woke up this morning grateful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. 'Cause I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Oh, I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. And I love every single spice. All right, guys, so here we go. We're gonna get spicy. I'm just gonna say spicy. Sing it over here so I can have something that I can sing, okay? But really what I want you to do at home is to pick an emotion that maybe, sometimes you struggle to feel good about having, right? So one that I've worked through is sadness. And now I'm kind of in love with my sadness. I love leaning into it. And knowing that the sky is gray and it helps me get into the feeling, right? And once I get present with that feeling, like what Rev was saying, then because I'm present and in it fully, I can change it, right? So pick a spice and sing it with me. Here we go. I woke up this morning spicy as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. It can be angry, sad. I woke up this morning spicy as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. Or jealous. I woke up this morning spicy as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep till I'm ready to change it. I woke up this morning spicy as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. 'Cause I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. All the spices. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Woo! I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Oh, I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Keep going. I love being alive and all the emotions. It's the greatest thing about my life. A rich experience. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. And I love every single spice.
I love every single spice. I love frosty spice. I love icy spice. I love spicy spice. I love all the spices. Yes, Jesse. And I love cayenne power. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Special thanks to Sonya for sticking with me through all those improvisations.
Yes. Sonya Spice. Yes, that's her new DJ name. Yes. Amen. Amen. Yes. Woo. Okay. Okay. I love being alive. Oh. Breathe. At this time of service, we anchor and ground in the spiritual practice of tithing, offering, where we are spiritually fed, and as Tracy says, to support the business that is CSL Greater Baltimore so that the vision, mission, and purpose of this beloved community may expand and do great works. Now, if you are new to CSL Greater Baltimore, you may not know that the practitioner core of CSL Greater Baltimore, on top of their regular monthly tithes, have pledged $50,000 by the end of the year. And as of April 22nd, that number is $10,675. The community's matching pledge, also on top of their monthly tithes, is, as of the end of March, $1,425. Now, how do you tithe? You have four possible ways: PayPal, Givelify, text to give, or the postal mail service. If you ever have questions about how to give or how to divide a certain portion of your offering to, say, emergency care, the new building fund, etc., feel free to reach out to the board treasurer, Sue Monahan, or any of the board of trustees and myself, and we will be sure to answer your questions and or concerns. Feel free to visit cslgreaterbaltimore.com/give for more information. Here at CSL Greater Baltimore, when we declare this declaration of financial wealth and abundance, we are declaring wealth and abundance as the spiritual beingness of ourselves. In other words, we are declaring a wealth and abundance of health and joy and love, lives that are prosperous in our relationships, an opulent ability to be present with all of the spices of our lives. So while we declare this at this time, referencing finances, in essence, because it's all God anyway, we are declaring the goodness of God in totality. So if this is in alignment with you, then let us declare together. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. Breathe. Thank you. Thank you very much for choosing CSL Greater Baltimore today. Thank you for choosing this to be your beloved community. Thank you for, if you're a guest today, thank you for guesting today. Thank you for all of the energy that you brought. Thank you to everyone who makes service what it is, to DJ Tracy Blurry Rhymes for hosting today. She said, what? Thank you to Jesse Cayenne Powers, who always brings that musical mastery. Thank you to Sonya and Ashlee for making this service accessible to the deaf community. Thank you, Sifu Eugene D. Holden, for anchoring us and grounding us in consciousness. Thank you, everyone, for all that you are and all that you do. You truly are awesome. Breathe. Now, after service, we tend to go over to the Zoom chat room to fellowship and, love up on each other and all that stuff. But it's also open for those who desire prayer with our practitioner on duty today, which it's actually not going to be Eugene today because Eugene has another function to attend. So possibly one of our other practitioners will step in. But know that you can always ask for prayer at any time. Just email myself or any of the practitioners directly, and you will get your prayers. Doggy. Yes, we will get you on the prayer list, and we will get you steeped in the energy and consciousness of oneness and love and truth. Also today, after service and after fellowship, join us for visioning, where we anchor and ground in this experience, this spiritual practice that avails us to embody the knowingness of the universe of itself as us. So join in, and if you want to know more about what is visioning, join us in the Zoom room and ask that question, and it will be answered for you. Wink, wink. Now, let us anchor and ground, understanding and knowing that even though this thing called our Sunday service comes to an end, our way of being in service never ends. For that which is God, that which is love, that which is spirit itself is ever on the move. And so we simply surrender into the flow of love, of light, of joy. We love being alive. We are grateful, and we allow the law to say what it always says. Yes. 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 Yes, you are awesome. Yes, you are healthy. Yes, you are well. Yes, you are loved. Yes, you are. Yes, and you will always be. Yes. And because of this sacred and divine yes, we already know that all of this is already answered prayer. It is already good. It is already God. It is already the goodness of life itself showing up in, through, and as each and every one of us right now. Breathe, knowing that this answered prayer is the truth of our lives. We touch and agree by saying, it is so, it is now, it is done. And so it is. Amen. Blessings and much love. See you in Zoom.